Cadillac used to be the best car in the world. Not one of the best. Not best for the money. The best. Presidents rode in Cadillacs. Movie stars posed in them. If you made it in America, you bought a Cadillac. So here's the uncomfortable question. How did a brand that once defined luxury end up chasing BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, and still losing? Because Cadillac didn't lose on horsepower, or price, or even technology. Cadillac lost on something far harder to fix, and once you see it, you'll realize why no amount of redesigns, engines, or rebrands ever fully worked. Stay with this story, because near the end, there's a single moment when Cadillac almost figured it out. Almost. In the early 1900s, Cadillac wasn't just a car company, it was a standard. The phrase, the standard of the world, wasn't marketing fluff. It was real. Cadillac pioneered precision manufacturing when most cars were still hand-fitted guesses. Parts were interchangeable. Quality was consistent. Reliability was unmatched. In an era where cars broke constantly, Cadillac worked. That's luxury. By the 1940s and 50s, Cadillac became a cultural icon. Big bodies, smooth rides, quiet cabins. In cities like Chicago, Detroit, and New York, Cadillacs lined hotel entrances. They weren't sporty. They weren't subtle. They were confident. European luxury didn't exist in America the way it does now. Mercedes and BMW were obscure names. Cadillac owned the top of the mountain. And that dominance planted the seed of the problem. Cadillac believed luxury meant comfort and status. Europe believed luxury meant mastery. That difference didn't matter at first, but it would later destroy Cadillac's position. In the 1960s and 70s, America changed. Highways expanded. Driving became faster, more personal. European cars started creeping in, not as luxury, but as driver's cars. BMW marketed the feeling of control. Mercedes marketed engineering excellence. These cars felt different. Tighter, sharper, engaging. Cadillac didn't see this as a threat. Why would they? They weren't competing for the same buyer, or so they thought. Then the oil crisis hit. Big American cars suddenly looked wasteful. European cars looked efficient, smart, forward-thinking. Cadillac reacted slowly. They still believed size equaled luxury, soft suspension, floating ride, couch-like seats. Meanwhile, European brands were training drivers to care about steering feel, braking, and balance. Two definitions of luxury were forming. Only one would win long-term. By the 1980s, Cadillac had a problem. Their customers were aging. Young professionals weren't dreaming about Cadillacs. They wanted BMWs. They wanted cars that felt alive. Cadillac tried to respond. Smaller cars, new designs, front-wheel drive. But something felt off. The cars didn't feel confident. They felt confused. And that confusion leaked into the brand. Cadillac didn't know who it was anymore. Here's where things got dangerous. Cadillac was owned by GM, and GM believed scale solved everything. Platforms were shared, costs were cut. Luxury became cosmetic, leather seats, chrome trim, fancy badges. But underneath, many Cadillacs felt like upgraded Chevys. Customers noticed, once luxury feels fake, trust evaporates. European brands never did that. BMW and Mercedes guarded their engineering identities fiercely. You knew what you were paying for. Cadillac blurred the line. Now, let's talk about culture. European luxury brands sold discipline, German engineering, precision, restraint. Cadillac sold success. Big success. Flashy success. That worked when America valued arrival over experience. But as tastes shifted, subtlety became status. Cadillac didn't adapt fast enough. Then came the 1990s and early 2000s. Cadillac tried again. Sharper styling, performance models. The art and science design language. On paper, it looked promising. CTS was genuinely competitive. The V-Series was impressive. Journalists praised the effort, but buyers hesitated. Because Cadillac still carried baggage. Luxury isn't just about being good. It's about being believed. European brands had decades of consistency. Cadillac had decades of identity whiplash. That's hard to overcome. Now, here's the problem Cadillac couldn't solve. They were fighting on European terms. Handling, lap times, performance numbers. But they weren't European. They were American. And instead of redefining luxury again, they tried to imitate it. That never works. BMW didn't need to convince buyers it was sporty. It always had been. Cadillac had to convince people it had changed. Convincing is exhausting and expensive. Now let's explore the emotional side. Luxury buyers don't just buy cars. They buy stories. BMW sold the ultimate driving machine. Mercedes sold heritage and engineering. Audi sold progress and technology. Cadillac's story kept changing. Sometimes it was tradition. Sometimes it was performance. Sometimes it was youth. That inconsistency created doubt, and doubt kills luxury faster than poor quality. Because luxury buyers hate uncertainty. Here's a moment that sums it up. Imagine a successful 35-year-old professional in San Francisco in the early 2000s. He wants a luxury sedan. He considers a BMW. He considers a Mercedes. Then he considers a Cadillac and hesitates. Not because the Cadillac is bad, but because he's not sure what it says about him. That hesitation is fatal. European brands never triggered that doubt. Now let's talk about dealerships. Cadillac was sold alongside non-luxury brands. Same buildings, same service experience, same sales tactics. European luxury dealerships felt different, quiet, focused, intentional. Cadillac felt mass market. Even when the cars weren't. Luxury isn't just the product. It's the entire experience. Cadillac underestimated that. Now here's the turning point. In the late 2010s, Cadillac made a bold move. They tried to reinvent again. Electric future, minimalist branding, new leadership. It looked promising. But the market had changed again. Tesla entered luxury from a different angle. Technology first, software driven. And suddenly, Cadillac wasn't just behind Europe. They were behind Silicon Valley. The competition multiplied. Cadillac wasn't losing because it couldn't build good cars. They were losing because luxury had moved faster than their identity. Here's the climax. Cadillac failed to beat European luxury cars because it never chose a single definition of luxury and defended it relentlessly. They chased trends instead of setting them. They reacted instead of led. European brands protected their core identity no matter what the market did. Cadillac kept reinventing without anchoring. Luxury brands don't need to be loud. They need to be certain. Cadillac lost certainty. Once that happened, everything else became harder. Today, Cadillac still exists, still impressive on paper, still capable. But the crown is gone. Not because Europe cheated. Not because America forgot how to build cars. But because Cadillac stopped believing in one clear version of itself. And luxury brands that hesitate don't win. If you want to see how another American brand made this exact mistake in a different industry, watch the next video on your screen. Subscribe for more deep automotive and business history stories. And comment below whether luxury is about performance, heritage, or something else entirely.